Hello and welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. I'm your superintendent, Dr. Gabriel Trujillo, and it is my pleasure to welcome each and every single one of you who have chosen to serve the students of the Tucson Unified community. All of you have chosen Tucson Unified Schools to begin the incredible journey, the journey of a lifetime, the journey of teaching. Myself, I was a former teacher for almost 10 years, and I cannot tell you the amount of satisfaction and fulfillment that the amazing role of teacher brought me in my life. So much so that when I come to my final days, I will look upon that title of teacher as one of the ones that I wore most proudly in my life. Though the 2020-21 school year definitely is going to bring some unique challenges with racial unrest and social discourse at its all-time most difficult and volatile, and oh yeah, a worldwide pandemic, the mission and the vision of our schools and of the teachers that serve in our schools remain the same. You'll have the privilege of working with, I believe, one of the most gifted generations of American youth we have ever seen in this country. A whole new generation of learners, of young people and children that have skill sets so inherently inside of them we've never seen them before. They have this intense need to collaborate, to communicate, and to create. This is not a generation of young people that will stand for not having their voices heard, that will stand for just sitting in a desk and being talked at each and every single day. They have this intense desire to connect with and work with other students around them, with their colleagues, with their peers. They have this intense desire to put into some creative content their ideas, their thoughts, their opinions. They thrive on platforms like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and they use these different platforms to tell you and the world what they think, what they believe. They have this intense need to connect. They have all these different platforms to have instant access to their relationships, instant access to those that they most care about and value. And probably the biggest change that you'll see with this generation is the teacher in the school is no longer the sole point of information. Our students are bombarded each and every single day with all kinds of access point for information, from their phones to the internet itself, to Google, to all of the different apps that stream on their TVs and on their phones. You're a competitor with 100 different sources for information. So if we're going to be embracing the challenge of teaching in the 21st century, we need to learn to keep students at heart. And if we're going to keep students at heart, we have to understand the very nature and the very characteristics, needs and wants of the young people that come into our classrooms each and every day. Because what differentiates a good teacher from a great teacher is the fact that the great teacher understands this and embraces these characteristics, these needs, these wants, and these traits of the 21st century learner, and views them as an opportunity to do things differently, to change professionally, to embrace new modes of reaching students. That's the mark of the great teacher, along with that great teacher's tendency and priority of establishing and maintaining amazing relationships with all of the young people in the classroom. The good teacher knows the content. The good teacher understands the curriculum. The good teacher writes solid lesson plans. The good teacher understands the evaluation instrument, understands the standards, understands what's required of AZ Merit, DIBELS, and a host of all standardized assessments that we see in this district and around the state. The great teacher understands the art of teaching, the art of relationships, the power of transforming students' lives. And that only comes through understanding who our students are, what their needs, what their wants, what their desires are, and the skills that they bring into the classroom. Though our circumstances have changed with this pandemic, this global crisis, this unprecedented period of tumult in our nation around racial relations, around social justice, and around equity, though all of these circumstances have all of a sudden exploded onto the scene in 2020, one thing remains the same. There is one institution in American life that has the capacity to transform the lives of young people and children. One institution that has the capability of bringing all kinds of people together, regardless of race, creed, religious beliefs, all in the celebration of children. One institution that will determine the quality of life for generations to come, for the children that we serve in all of our buildings. One institution that actually has a running shot at addressing the inequities that we see in our society, the challenges of intolerance, the scourges of drugs and addiction. One institution that through its very work has the capability of transforming our society into that great society that President Lyndon Johnson always dreamed about. That great society that embodied the ideals that our founding fathers wrote about in the Constitution. That institution is our public schools. And the classroom teacher is the most important instrument in our public schools. And so I leave you with this. You have chosen a career that won't always be easy. You have chosen days that will be longer than if you were in some other profession. You have chosen a clientele, our students, that won't always do what you say, when you say, or learn everything that you teach the first time around. But I promise you this, you have chosen a profession that will never, ever leave a deeper impact on your life when you leave the classroom than classroom teaching. I'm proud and thankful that you chose the Tucson Unified School District to practice your art, and I promise to do everything that I can to make sure that your time with us is the richest, most rewarding of your career. Thank you for choosing Tucson Unified Schools. Stay safe and stay healthy.